Welcome back, everybody. We have a great project to do today, and I'll take you right through the design phase of it as well. And we're designing and building charcuterie boards, and they're wine uh, inspired. So if you're having a wine party, these are great things. These are really, really popular right now. So if you're a woodworker that sells your product and you like to sell them at craft fairs and stuff, this might be a project for you. Or if you just want to build things for your family and summertime's coming up or the holidays, and these are quite popular. So I like to start out with a quarter-inch piece of hardboard, and I'm just drawing out the size. And my size is 16 inches tall by 10 inches wide. So I'll be dividing that up in half. So you can see I have a long parallel line there. And what I do is I draw the left elevation of a product. Uh, and then once I draw the left side, and then I'll cut it in half, and then I can do a mirror image. So what I'm using here is things called French curves, and they really make things simplified when you're trying to do soft angles. I don't want any hard angles because this is supposed to mimic a wine bottle, so we're going to soften up all the edges. And like I said, these are French curves, and they really make the application of designing a lot easier. So we're just making some marks on the bottom, and I just want to make sure that I've got that over. So I'll bring it over an inch on the bottom, and then I'll curve that up towards the top. And once I find the curve that I'm happy with, I'll just, I usually go in light, and then I'll inspect it, and then I'll go in darker. There we are. And then I'll follow along with that with a Sharpie. And I'll just soften up the top edges. And so the very top of this, I've made a mark at the top, and this is 16 inches is the length of it. And the total project is 10 inches wide from the outside edges. So the one side of it is only 5 inches from your center line. I'm just going over the lines with a Sharpie there. Basically for you guys, if it was me, I would just cut it out with the pencil lines, but this will give you more of a visual that you can see. And I'll be making two boards out of this. This will be the base for the board. I'm going to make one with a longer top on it. I made it 1.5 inches longer, one shorter, one a little bit stubbier. But I'll only draw the one pattern, and then what I can do is extend it. Like I was saying, this is hardboard, 1/4 inch hardboard. That's the one side, and then I'll just take it to the table saw and cut it in half. Here we are, and then I'll take this to the bandsaw, and we'll cut that off. We'll cut the waste off it, and then just follow along the line. And if I was doing both sides identical, I would just lay this on top of the other side, and then glue it down, and then cut right through, then they'd be identical. But I'm going to add a handle to one side. So what I'll do is I'll just cut this out now, and then I'll lay it over and draw the mirror image on, and then I can draw in my handle. You can see I was doing some sketches on the top there, but I've decided to do it on the right hand side. So I'll just be following this right along, and then I don't have to get too close to the lines, because I can refine this with a sander. One thing about this hardboard product, it sands nice and easy. So it's great pattern material. Like I said, this is 1/4 inch hardboard. And my bandsaw blade, everybody's always wondering about what size of blade is I usually use. probably 90% of my cutting is with a 1/4 inch. And if you have to do sharp corners, what you do is you just take off some waste and you keep working your way in. Or if I have to get to really sharp corners, I'll get as close as I can with a bandsaw, and then I'll go to a scroll saw. But the bandsaw usually works pretty good. The thing with the hardboard, you'll be able to tell as you're cutting it if you're putting too much stress on your blade, if your corners are too sharp, so you can ease them out on your pattern. And it's 39 by 24 if you like metric. Here we are, and I'll just refine the edges, and I'll just bring that to the blue line. And now I'm just drawing out the mirror image on the other side. And there it is, and I'm pretty happy with that. That looks nice. Now I'll just block the top where I'm going to put in a handle. This is just called blocking. This will give me the area that I want the handle in, and then I can refine that area, give us some nice soft curved edges. I want to look like a wine bottle, so it's going to have nice soft edges, flowing edges. And this is just on my freehand and a pencil. When I'm doing any sketching or anything, I always just usually go light, and then once I'm happy with the sketch, and then I'll go darker. And use good pencils. They'll aid in your design process. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'll just soften out the outside edge, and I can do that when I'm cutting it. And here we have some Douglas fir. This is flooring that I took out of a project probably about 25 years ago. And the estimated floor on this was flooring. It was down for about 125 years at one of the traditional heritage homes in the area that was being torn down, which was a shame. But a buddy of mine called me and told me that they're ripping up all this flooring. So I went and retrieved it, and I've been using it for years. So this is Douglas fir, edge grain, old growth, and we're going to, we're not putting it in the fire pile. I've been using it for years for building different things, so it's a beautiful product, but you can see how tight the edge grain is. So we've cut off all the tongue grooves and laminated and just glued it together. On all my charcuterie boards and cutting boards, I use Type Bond 3. It's a waterproof glue. That's so if you have any moisture on them, or if you're outside in the rain or put some wet on them, they're not going to come apart. So I'm just sketching it out, and we'll do this to both sides. And this is the one with the shorter handle, so what I'll do is on the other one is I'll draw it right to the top of the handle, and then I'll extend it an inch and a half. You notice that board's a little bit taller on the other side, and I bring the pattern right to the edge. So I've cut it out on the bandsaw, which you've already seen some bandsaw work, and now I'm just going back and refining it on the scroll saw. And this will just get me closer to the edges. I don't have to get too awful close because we will be sanding this to the edges, but this just takes off some waste. And if you're a woodworker, you enjoy using equipment and tools, so enjoy the finer refinements of the scroll saw. This is number 5 blade skip tooth for the people who have scroll saws. And I really have I put high tension on my blades. You want them to cut correctly. And a lot of people have problems on curves and corners. So whenever you're trying to make a nice tight corner, what you do is you just bring your product to the edge of the blade and push sideways on it, and it will just wrap right around for you. You can see there I was just pushing to the edge. And my hole cutouts, I just popped a 3/8 hole. And you can see I'm checking the tension. I like it really tight. Got to get a twang off the blade. Just setting up the air gauge, and we'll just cut out the finger hole. I'll just let you watch this. And if you don't have a scroll saw, you can definitely do this on a bandsaw. Just drill bigger holes so you can get your blade in and follow around. If I didn't have the scroll saw, what I would be using is probably a 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch drill, and I'd use that on 3 different corners, and I'd be able to just drill that down, and then I could just use the jigsaw from corner to corner, and I'd let the drill bit do the radius for me. The scroll saws work good for this application. And you can't hear the saw going, but this wood is extremely hard. It's old and it's seasoned, and like I said, it's been around now for probably about 125 years. So it's good to reuse it. There we go, we've got that cut out. And if you're enjoying these videos, please buy me coffee. That helps by supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I'm retired, so I'm doing these for you guys to show you the different projects and stuff that we can do. What I'm doing is just I've set up a router in the router table. And I'm just going to soften up the edges. And please subscribe. We enjoy doing these. So, and we're going to do a few in this series of cutting boards and charcuterie boards. The next one I'll show you how to do a router patterns. And so if you're going to do a bunch of these, you could do up a pattern that you could use on a router table, and then you can router them all out. And we're going to do some epoxy inlays in them. So here I am just going along. And we've done them on both sides. This is a 1/4 inch round over. You can see I've extended the top on one. You can see there's the pattern layover. And now we'll just give it a refined sand. And we'll just soften up all the edges and take any burn marks off. And these have been sanded to 220. I'm just using my multi-tool there. We use that quite often in the shop. This is a fine. This is a German made, I believe, or Swedish, European made anyways, but it's been an excellent tool over the years. And we'll just follow all the way along, and like I said, if there's any burn marks, but there doesn't seem to be any, but we'll just soften up all the edges and get it ready for an oil. And what I'll do is I'll lay a piece of canvas on the table, and we'll oil one side and let that set overnight, and then we'll oil the other side. This will just go in, and This old Douglas fir is just a beautiful wood to use. It tools up nicely, doesn't shatter, it cuts beautifully. You see with these detail sanders you can get right in and around the corners. And then I'll go over the top of it again with a random orbital sander. Like I said, the final sand will be 220. So this is just checking for any burrs or anything. And I didn't fill any of the nail holes. You can see in the back side there's still holes from where the bores were nailed to the floor. I want to leave that and make it evident that this was flooring that was inside of a house. You can see them there in the hole. I think that just adds to the character of the pieces. And you see my pattern just above. And on all the patterns, I write all the bulk sizes right on them. So if I'm going to cut up some wood, you can see the two different sizes. Just going to show you a shop, a woodworking shop here. I see a lot of these YouTube shops, and this is a woodworker shop. This is what a woodworker shop looks like. Sawdust on the floor, jigs everywhere, patterns, wood piled up in the corner, got a wood stove in the back, a couple of table saws, shapers, router tables, lights, sanders, lathe over there in the corner, and sawdust on the floor, like I said. I do clean it every morning, but by the time the end of the day comes, this is what we're left with. But well, woodworkers like to see shops, so there you go. And we have a 20-inch bandsaw. We do a lot of resawing, so I saw this size. And every time I see some wood, I've got to bring it home. So we have lucky enough to have 16-foot high ceilings, so we can bring in some big lumber. A couple of Delta table saws. I have a right tilt and a left tilt. Good old Delta tools. They're solid tools. So here we are. Like I said, we're just going to oil them. And what I'm going to show you here is I like to put our oil down with a brush and not a rag. A rag, you don't know what's been on the rag, and if it's sitting around, it might get tainted or something. So we use a brush, and what I do is just I have a band on the mineral oil. This is straight mineral oil. This is food safe. Has nothing in it. Don't use baby oil or nut oil or vegetable oil. It'll go rancid. A mineral oil won't go rancid, and it'll penetrate into it. So I'll give it a good saturation, and I want it to bubble up on top of it. And we just brush that on liberally, and this will stay on top of it. And it's the end of the day, so I'll just leave that gathered up like that overnight, and then in the morning we'll flip it over and do the other side, and then we'll wipe it off, and then we have a concentration of wax and mineral oil, and we have a 25% wax mixture to mineral oil, and then we'll put that on, and that'll be buffed off, and that'll be the top coat. And the wax that you use is paraffin wax. So what I do is heat up a pan and put in about 25% paraffin wax to mineral oil. And here they are, all done. So I hope you enjoy this, and please think about buying us a coffee if you enjoy this, and subscribe. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.